easy one, can I just give it vocally?
Yes,
In
always
case I'm
option.
unable to do even
Yes,
then.
no problem, no problem.
Okay, sir.
You absolutely don't worry about any of the assignments. You just enjoy yourself, read whatever you can, listen whatever you can. You are attending class, that is also very good. So everything is very positive from your side. Don't worry at all.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. अरेहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम से काज सब आज भयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So we will continue with 12 contemplations, 12 bhavna, Dwadas Anupreksha. Okay. And we were on to Asharan Bhavna. Helplessness, contemplation on helplessness, contemplation on no one can provide protection, contemplation on lack of refuge or shelter. All these are different names for the same Asharan Bhavna. We had covered 2 points. Now the third point, we'll be starting from third point. So far in the discussion of first 2 points, so in the first bhavna, Anitya bhavna, we had discussed about the transient nature of associations and modifications. In Asharan bhavna, we are discussing the helplessness nature of the substance. Okay. So as impermanence is also an inherent nature of the thing, similarly helplessness is also a inherent nature of the thing. Okay. So basically in the contemplation of helplessness, we discussed mostly about associations like body, etc., and the modification. Now the third point. We are on to page number 29 of the PDF. And if you see the Hindi version, it is 37 page. So the question here is, what is the difference between impermanence and helplessness? First two contemplations. What is the difference between Anitya Bhavna and Asharana Bhavna? So in Anitya Bhavna, one reflects on the transient nature of the associations and modifications. They are all fleeting, temporary, transitory. Okay. Whereas in Asarana Bhavana, one reflects on their helplessness nature. Okay. So this is point number A, 3A. Then there is another point coming up, 3B. Okay. So this is 3A. Just like impermanence, I will make you a co-host, Emily. You'll be able to share, right?
So I just don't have those points written down that Soumyaji wrote in the last class.
Okay, so Soumyaji is there. 1 minute. Huh?
Sir.
I'll make you a co-host, Soumya.
Yes, sir. No issues.
But acha, okay. I have allowed, yeah. So everyone is marking in their own way, you know. If you have taken a printout, you can do it there. Otherwise, you can do later on. So this is 3A. In Anitya Bhavna, we reflect on the transient nature of the association, and in Asharan Bhavna, we reflect on their helpless nature. Just like impermanence, helplessness is also the inherent nature of all things. Now, this nature of things we cannot change. We have to accept. It's universally accepted, you know. So in the nature of things, impermanence and helplessness are the inherent nature of each and everything. Now, when we say helplessness means independence. One substance cannot help another substance. Okay. One substance is independent of another substance. One substance cannot harm another substance. Okay. So this also shows the independent nature of each and every substance. The need for external refuge indicates dependence, whereas every entity is in reality completely independent. Asaran means helpless, that which does not require the assistance or refuge of another is in essence independent and without refuge. Okay. So that which does not require any assistance or refuge of another is in essence independent and without refuge or helpless. It is in this sense that Acharya Pujyapat Swami has referred to Keval Gyan, omniscient knowledge, as Asahai Gyan. Asahai means independent knowledge. The knowledge that does not require any assistance, because this omniscient knowledge is going to come from our own soul, right? There is no external thing that we need to take shelter in, help from them to get this omniscient knowledge. It's going to evolve from our own soul at its own time, fixed time, prefixed time. Okay. So there is no dependence. When the time comes, it will automatically happen. The knowledge that does not require any assistance, whether from the senses, light, or any other external aid to perceive objects, is called Asahai Gyan or Keval Gyan, omniscience knowledge. Next. Asharan Bhavna is also referred to as Asai Bhavna. So this is another name of Asharan Bhavna. So here the 3A point ends. Now the 3B. The focal point of Anitya Bhavna is, it's on the next page, Soumya. The focal point. Yes. The focal point, yeah, you already marked. Very good. The focal point of Anitya Bhavna is everyone must die one day, each in their own time. Okay, this is the second point. Whereas in Asharana Bhavna, the focal point is no one can prevent death. Okay, so everyone must die one day, and here no one can prevent death. Same thing, but from different perspective it is being said. This is the fundamental difference between the two bhavnas. Now, two paragraphs are missing that I have already shared today also and last week also. You can cut and paste, Soumya, if it's possible. Otherwise, later on, you can do these changes and then you can share in the group. So, the two paragraphs that I am just reading now, I've already shared in the WhatsApp group. Although in the available reflections on impermanence and helplessness, the focus is largely on death as the separation of the soul from the body. their scope is not limited only to the inevitability of death. Rather, their expanse is vast because within their scope fall all kinds of association and the instability and helplessness of modification. The increased discussion on the death related matter is due to people's heightened sensitivity towards death. Okay, so whenever there is a talk about death, people simply connect immediately because death is something that everyone wants to avoid, and they feel that uh, I am dying, the soul is dying, but actually the soul is not dying. Soul is changing its form only, right? From this body to another body to another body, and then ultimately getting liberated. But soul remains soul because soul is eternal. There is no beginning, there is no end. So people are very sensitive towards death. So that's why the distinctions between the body and soul is emphasized here. People show greater sensitivity towards death than towards any other changes. So Acharya Devs have using this psychology to help you in discriminating between the soul and the body, two different entities. Now we come back to the again our textbook. So two paragraphs I've already read, and you have to insert here. Now we continue to the next paragraph. Acharya Dev aims to awaken a deep realization by touching sensitive points. Just now he discussed about the death, right? So he wants to awaken in us a deep realization, a deep connection where you are able to comprehend things as they are, right? What is delusion? Delusion is something that we are not able to comprehend the things as they are, right? External association is not a source of happiness, mine happiness, but I feel that I will be happy by getting the external associations, right? So this is called delusion. So Acharya Dev aims to awaken a deep realization by touching sensitive points. A wound inflicted upon a vital spot does not go in vain. This is precisely why the compassionate saint presents the piercing truth about the inevitability of death and helplessness in such a poignant manner. That means in a touching manner, to shake and break the tendency of wandering in the realm of imagination. Okay, so Acharya Devs are all psychologists. They understand each and every thought process of the seeker because he himself was a seeker at one point of time, and he has experienced what he has all gone through, what were the problems, what were the challenges, and he completely resonates with the seeker. So that's why he is able to solve the doubts in the minds of the seeker very easily because he has already experienced, he has gone through these stages, and he knows at what stage what kind of support is required, and that's why he is supporting us by writing these books. All these books have been written by acharyas, upadhyayas, sadhus, scholars. They have done their contribution. They have also received from somebody else, and in return they have passed on to someone else. So the lineage of information goes on from Acharya to Acharya, then scholars, and it has come to us in the form of books. And now we are reading in English. Just imagine, there is nothing available in English. There was nothing available in English earlier, but now everything is getting translated. And with Chat GPT, things have become so easy. Only you have to do few corrections here and there because after all, it's a machine. So there is already some information fed in the chat GPT, and whenever he tries to translate, he finds the words from those also. So sometimes there are mistakes and that we are correcting anyways. Okay. So this is 3B. That's the end of the third point. Now the fourth point, which is above the 3B. Yes, here. Asaran signifies the absence of intervention. I wanted all the words to be used in English and in the bracket Hindi words, but this is one someday done earlier. So now they have resorted to that, but this is the earlier translation. So everywhere the Hindi words are used, but I hope that you are good with English words also. And it will be a good process to have the flow in English only, because initially there was difficult in understanding the terminology. Now we are all very well versed. So for us, reading in Hindi or English doesn't make a difference. We are able to comprehend the inner messages given in English also. But still, some words are used in Hindi and that we can't help right now. But I think gradually it will improve. Asaran signifies the absence of intervention. Now, this is another aspect of Asharan. Okay. Asharan means helpless. Asharan means nobody can provide protection, right? Asaran means without refuge. Asaran means without shelter. Now, this is another dimension to it. Asaran signifies the absence of intervention. Nobody can interfere in any other matter, you know. Hastashep. Hastashep means interference. There is no interference. By nature of things, one substance cannot interfere into another substance, right? In the transformation, parinaman of any substance, okay, even the slightest interference from another substance is not possible. Clearly ruled out, not possible. Nobody can interfere. Nobody can make you sorrow, right? If you choose to be sorrow, if you choose to be experiencing sorrow, nobody can help you. You are independent to experience happiness or sorrow. No external source, no karma can do anything to you, right? It's your own efforts that will bring happiness, and it's your not putting in right efforts that is going to cause misery. So now we are understanding these principles very clearly to manifest happiness, right? Our objective only is to manifest happiness. We don't have any other objective. No wealth, no fame, no power, nothing, nothing, right? The foundation of, one minute, in the transformation of any substance, even the slightest interference from another substance is not possible. No matter how powerful an individual may be, how powerful, they cannot intervene in the transformation of another substance. Now write this in your mind. It's a universal law. How powerful an individual can be, they cannot intervene in the transformation of any other substance. They cannot harm any other substance. They cannot help any other substance. So now all kinds of fears have gone. Nobody can do anything wrong to me. Such a nice principle, right? Such a simple principle. Now this is what brings happiness in our life. You are now fearless because you know nobody can do anything. It's my past karma. If it comes into fruition, I am going to have associations which are beneficial or unbeneficial, right? But having said that, they are also not so powerful to disturb me. If I put in the right efforts, if I comprehend things in the right manner, right, in the right perspective, then nobody can elude me to experience my own happiness, which is my inherent nature. I am born to be happy, right? I am born to be happy. My nature is happiness. So nobody can separate happiness from myself, right? So Bal Gangadhar Tilak, What he said? स्वतंत्रता मेरा जन्मसिद्ध अधिकार है. Independence is my birth,
Birthright.
birthright. Yeah, independence is my birthright. And Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose said, "Give me blood, I will give you freedom." And here Acharya says, "You give me time, and you achieve freedom." Right? You have to just understand, contemplate, and make a decision on these principles. Right? So, no matter how perfect, they cannot intervene in the transformation of another substance. The essence of Asana Bhavana lies in contemplating these inherent characteristics of reality and the independent sequential transformation of its states, modifications. The foundation of Asana Bhavana is a profound realization of the insignificance of external conditions, that is, instrumental causes. After all, what else could no one can save possibly mean? Okay. So, insignificance of instrumental causes is what we realize when we understand this. So here the fourth point ends. Now we move on to the fifth point, which is after 3b. Yes. Very good, huh? Soumya, you have done so easy for everybody. Point out the points. Within the analysis of Asana Bhavana, a question may also arise. If Asana Bhavana not only speaks of the absence of refuge, but also mentions sources of refuge, then what does it truly mean to say there is no refuge? Okay. So along with the helplessness nature of things, Acharyas have also mentioned what to take shelter in. Okay. So what is the meaning of saying that there is no refuge? Of course, there is a refuge, and Acharyas have discussed. So, in reference to this question, Pandit Jaichandji Chhabda's Bara Bhavna has been here given as an evidence of support. Shuddhatma Arupanch Guru Jagme Sharna Doi Mo Uday Jiya ke Vyatha An Kalpana Hoi. Okay. Shuddhatam Arupanch Guru Jagme Sharna Doi Mo Uday Jiya ke Vritha An Kalpana Hoi. What does it say? It says, in this world, one's pure soul, okay, and the five supreme beings are the only true refuge. Okay. So from the real point of view, our own pure soul is the only refuge. And from the conventional point of view, these five supreme beings are the only true refuge. Yet, due to the rise of delusion, okay, the soul engages in futile imagination of seeking refuge elsewhere. Whereas the nature of things there says that there is no refuge elsewhere. Okay. But because of delusion, because of ignorance, the soul engages in futile, worthless, meaningless imagination of seeking refuge elsewhere, feeling dependent on others, right? But the nature of things says that there is no dependence of any other substance. Each substance is complete in itself. Each substance is capable of transforming on its own. It does not require any help. Just connecting to these few principles gives us so much of happiness, you know. We feel absolutely independent. And when we realize this independent nature, we always experience bliss. Okay. So wherever there is dependence, there is anxiety, there is sorrow, there is suffering, there is pain, there is grief, there is misery, everything, right? But wherever you experience independentness, there is no pain, no grief, no sorrow, nothing. Another reference by Pandit Deepchand ji. शरण जियो को जगत में सुर नर खगपति सार निश्चय शुद्धात्म sharan parmesti vyavhar. So here also same thing has been said, that from the real point of view, your pure soul is the only shelter, only refuge. And from the conventional point of view, these five supreme beings, okay, Acharya, Upadhyay, Sadhu, liberated soul, are the five supreme beings, okay. Arihant, Siddh, Acharya, Upadhyay, Sadhu. In this world, the Jeev finds no refuge in humans, Manushya, deities, Devta, celestial beings, or even the most powerful celestial being, Vidyadhar. Soumya, Vidyadhar are not celestial beings, right? Vidyadhar are humans only, right?
Yes, sir. Vidyadhar are not celestial beings.
So this is wrongly written. Even the most powerful human beings, write it down, Vidyadhars. So among the human beings, Vidyadhars are the most powerful. They have special abilities with them, right? They can fly, no? Vidyadhars.
Yes, sir. They have special powers. They can fly.
They can fly. They don't have to walk like us, you know. So even the most human beings, most powerful human beings, Vidyadhars. Now for Vidyadhar, there is a word in English that I will find out and post it in the group. Okay, Soumya, you can change that word here. Vidyadhars, you can put it in the bracket, Vidyadhars, and the main words, most powerful human beings like Vidyadhars, okay. In the ultimate sense, that is real sense, one's only true refuge is the pure soul, Shuddhatma. While in the conventional sense, the Panch Parmesti, the five supreme beings, are also considered a source of refuge. Next page. Although at a superficial glance, such a misunderstanding is not possible, upon deeper contemplation, it becomes absolutely clear that all associations, external associations and modifications are inherently without refuge. This is because even the five supreme beings and one's pure soul are not capable of preventing the dissolution of associations and transformations of modification that inevitably occur in their due course. Therefore, all associations and modifications are indeed devoid of refuge, helpless. Okay. So here the fifth point ends. Now we move on to the sixth point. A question, a question naturally arises. So now you can read this point number 6, Amitaji. A question.
A question naturally arises in connection with the above clarification. If asaran bhavana is entirely of the nature of being without refuge, then why is there any discussion of refuge within it at all? Such an unnecessary discussion only gives rise to needless confusion. Dear one, this discussion is not unnecessary. Rather, it is extremely essential. The Agam do not engage in irrelevant discussions. Every discussion within them serves a distinct purpose. We must strive to understand that purpose. The primary purpose of Asharan Bhavana is to instill the realization of the lack of refuge in Samyoga and Paryayas, thereby shifting one's focus away from them and directing it toward the inherent nature of reality. To fulfill this objective, Sanyogas and Paryayas are described as being without refuge, and for the same purpose, Shuddhatma and Param.
Panch Parmeshti, 5 supreme beings.
Panch Parmeshti. Sorry, I was going to read in my Hindi book. Panch Parmeshti are presented as the ultimate refuge. The only difference is that the lack of refuge in Sanyoga and Paryayas is emphasized to shift one's focus away from them, while Shuddhatma is presented as the ultimate refuge to inspire one to center their focus upon it.
Stop. So you see, it's a very self-explanatory that why there is a discussion on what to take refuge to. Because we are in Asharan Bhavana, the primary discussion is that all the associations and modifications are helpless in nature, right? Helpless. So why is the discussion on taking shelter to something, taking refuge of something, right? Why is this discussion? Because if we don't discuss the positive side of the contemplation, then the contemplation remains incomplete. Okay. If there is something impermanent, then there is something permanent. So by taking shelter in the permanent, the impermanence, the fear of impermanence will go. Similarly, by taking shelter in the pure soul, the feeling of nobody can provide protection will go away, right? So from the positive aspect also we should discuss. So apart from pure soul, from the real point of view, and the 5 supreme beings from the conventional point of view, there is another shelter that is being discussed, and that is coming up in the 7th point. Religion is also considered to be worth taking shelter in. Okay. So this is the reference given from Ratnakaran Sravaka Achar's commentary by Pandit Sada Sukdas ji. Okay. He was a scholar, very good scholar, and that is what we are going to discuss in the 7th, that religion is also worth taking shelter in. Now, what do you mean by religion? The passionlessness, the detachment, right? The happiness is the true religion, and that we will see in point number 7. Who can read? Who is becoming more organized? Arun? Who is
Sir,
that?
it's actually we have connected one from phone.
Acha.
We will.
Okay, so you only read. You will be able to
Okay.
read from the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
7th point. Apart from Shuddhatma and Panch Parmeshti, Dharma is also considered a refuge. In Ratnakaran Shravkachar Vachnika, Pandit Satasukh Das ji writes, in this sansar, worldly existence, Samyak Gyan, right knowledge, is a refuge. Samyak Darshan, right perception, is a refuge. Samyak Charitra, right conduct, is a refuge. And Samyak Tap Sanyam, right austerity and self-restraint, is a refuge. Without the pursuit of these 4, there is no refuge even in infinite time. Moreover, the 10 supreme virtues, such as Uttam Shama, supreme forbearance, etc., in this very world directly provide protection from all afflictions, suffering, death, dishonor, and loss. The beings who are unfamiliar with their own supreme self, Dhanpind of Gyan, embodiment of pure knowledge, Anand Kand, source of bliss, and the ultimate refuge, remain engrossed only in Prapt Paryay, attained mode, and associations. They are constantly distressed by the transformation of Paryay and the disintegration of associations. Though they continuously strive to escape this distress, seeking their situation is unchanged. It was bound to remain so. For how can modifications and associations, which are inherently perishable and ashram swabhavi, devoid of refuge, provide refuge to whom, in what manner, and for what reason? The resolution to this problem is precisely Ashran Bhavna, in which the truth is deeply reflected upon and repeatedly contemplated. Who can save those whose very nature is mortality? Who can provide refuge to those whose very essence is the lack of refuge? Their dissolution is inevitable. Accepting this truth alone leads to peace and bliss. If one truly seeks peace and bliss, then one must merge into the very essence of the self, which is the abode of bliss and the ocean of peace. This alone is the Param Sharan, supreme refuge. The Atma Swabhav, intrinsic nature of the self, is also the true refuge in the form of its devoted pursuit, known as Dharma, righteousness. Likewise, its expounders, Dev, Guru, Shastra, omniscience beings, and scriptures are also a refuge.
So 7th point ends. So the things which are themselves perishable, which is a modification, now this dharma is also considered a refuge. From which point of view? Real point of view or conventional point of view? So this again will come as a conventional point of view. So Panch Parmeshthi, the 5 supreme beings, and this dharma of passionlessness, this is what we want to manifest. So what we want to manifest, how can then that be a refuge in the real sense, right? So again, this is a conventional statement, and in the same way, the religion or the Das Lakshan Dharma, the religion of 10 types, the religion of 10 virtues, right? 10 supreme virtues are also considered as the dharma, right? So this, if you are manifesting this religion, you are avoiding suffering, you are avoiding sorrow, right? So all this happens. But having said this is again a modification only, which is again a perishable. So this cannot be a refuge from the real point of view. Okay, only from the conventional point of view it is being said. So there is no harm in that saying from the conventional point of view. Okay, so our own nature, the pure soul, is the true refugee in the form of its devoted pursuit known as dharma, righteousness. Okay, so taking shelter in the soul is the true refugee, and the resultant manifestation is refuge, is also considered as refuge from the conventional point of view. Okay, and likewise its expounder Dev, Shastra, Guru are also a refuge. Panch Parmeshthi is also a refuge, but all these from the conventional point of view. Now, the last and the final point, conclusion. Payal, you read. By taking refuge, slightly below, starting, Are you there, Payal? Unmute yourself. Malti ji.
Sir, you took my name.
So there's a lot of disturbance in my background.
Oh, okay.
That's too much.
So, Hemali, you do it.
Okay, sir. By taking refuge in all these, while the dissolution of paryas and association cannot be stopped, the resulting distress and restlessness will certainly be eliminated.
1 minute, stop. So by taking refuge in all these, so what does it mean? Dissolution of association and modification cannot be stopped, but the resulting distress and restlessness will certainly be eliminated, and it will be replaced by what, Hemali?
So by equanimity.
Yes, equanimity, happiness, detachment, passionlessness, you name it. Okay.
So,
So
what
this is
word for equanimity? I forgot.
samta,
Samta bhava. Yeah.
vitragta, samta. Right. Good. Continue.
Asaran Bhavana is comprehensively explained in the following verses from
Brihad Dravya Sangra. Brihad Dravya Sangra.
Dravya Samra, which should also be considered.
Hmm.
So you want me to read this?
No, the English one.
Okay. Now, Asavan Bhavana is explained as follows. The true refuge lies in the adoration of one's own Shuddhatma Dravya, which is transformed to Nija Suddhatma Dravya, the real three jewels, right faith, right knowledge, right faith, right conduct, along with external auxiliary causes of Panch Parmeshti. Apart from these, neither sentient entities such as Indra, Chakravarti, mighty warriors, valiant soldiers, suns, etc., nor inscient entities such as mountains, forts, caves, mystical gems, mantras, royal commands, palaces, medicinal herbs, etc., nor even mixed entities, a combination of both sentient and insentient, serve as a refuge at the time of death. At that moment, all of these prove to be futile, as a young deer caught by a tiger in a dense forest, or a bird fallen from a ship into the vast ocean. This should be understood. This means that upon realizing this truth, instead of realizing on Pancharupa Nidan Bandhabandi, which is bondage of longing for desires for sensual pleasures, one should take refuge in the Shuddhatma, self, pure soul, which holds the nectar of true bliss, Sukhamta, born out of self-realization. This alone is truly beneficial and the ultimate refuge, Saran. One who takes refuge in Shuddhatma, in this pure soul, in this manner, becomes secure in its shelter, just as a gentle and vulnerable creature such as a deer remains protected from predatory beasts like the tigers when enclosed within an adamantine cage, an indestructible enclosure. Thus, the explanation of Asavan Bhavana comes to an end. May all truth-seeking souls take refuge in their own true nature and attain infinite bliss. With this sacred sentiment, I take leave.
So, all truth-seeking souls take refuge in their own true nature. Own true nature. Now, taking refuge means what? Can anybody explain? I'll just give you a hint. I want to connect the pure soul and the active consciousness.
So, turning inwards.
Yes. So, active consciousness is busy outwards just because he feels that happiness comes from outside. Now, when he realizes that happiness lies within, okay, and I myself is a powerhouse of infinite attributes, and all the other uh, glory that are associated with a pure soul. If we keep on repeating those again and again, contemplating those again and again, then what happens? The shift happens. The shift from external inclination becomes inward towards the pure soul, and that is the time the self-realization happens. Okay, so the whole contemplation about Asarana Bhavana is that there is nobody who can give you shelter in the outside world. So your own pure soul is the only true refuge. Okay, there is nothing else that can help you in any way. So you take shelter in your pure soul and you will manifest pure infinite bliss. You will manifest the three gems: right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct. And you will manifest the religion of 10 virtues. Okay, so all these will come as a manifestation, and because of this manifestation, the other kind of manifestations of sorrow and other kind of passions will not arise. That is the benefit. And having said that, this manifestation has also happened just because by taking shelter in the pure soul. So in conclusion, we should take refuge in our pure soul, and that is what is going to manifest happiness in our life. Acharya Dev have given examples. This is from the reference that we took from Brihad Dravya Sangra, right? So here it gives an example that as a young deer caught by a tiger in a dense forest. Now in a dense forest, there is nobody going to help that deer, okay, from the clutches of tiger, right? Similarly, a bird fallen from a ship into the vast ocean, okay, nobody can save them. Similarly, all the associations and modifications are fleeting, transient in nature. They are helpless. There could not be any kind of shelter or protection provided by them. Okay, so there is no point in taking shelter in them. So you should take shelter in your pure soul, and once you take shelter in your pure soul, the nectar of true bliss, okay, born out of self-realization is manifested, and that is what you can experience and be happy. This alone is truly beneficial and the ultimate refuge. Okay. So this discussion was very good. You can read it again and again. I have enjoyed this time reading it because now my English has also improved and I can connect more with the words. Earlier the words were not coming to my mind, but now because of continuous study, now the words are coming out. So I'm enjoying it very well. And you, if you keep on repeating these studies again and again, you will also enjoy. We don't have any shortcuts. You have to just study it again and again and again. Okay. We need constant hammering to understand these words' meaning and enjoy. Right. So words are again material things, but the connection that we get from those words, understanding the meaning, from there we derive our happiness, because that leads to the shelter of the soul, and when we take shelter of the soul, the happiness is manifested. Okay, so everyone should contemplate it again and again. Repeated contemplation is required, and this will be your intellectual property right. This is called intellectual property right. If you understand it, you remember it, if you are able to connect to it, you enjoy. So this is something that we acquire by these studies. Okay. So this was all about Asharana Bhavana. Now we move on to the third one, Sansar Bhavana. Okay. First of all, we will do the marking. It starts from page number 47 in the, yeah, this is 46, now 47. Yeah. Sansar Bhavana. Ek Anushilan. Yes, from here. So this is the first point, beginning with that. The first point ends in the next page, entanglement in sansar. Next page. Next. The paragraph starts with no effort. Yeah, it's coming up. Last line. No effort. Yeah. Yeah. So here the first point ends. The second point begins from the next paragraph itself. For those, this is 2A. Okay. The next page it goes on. Digambar ascetics. 2A ends. Yeah. 2A ends, and then in the next page, seeking happiness. After this, right? Yeah. Seeking happiness. This is 2B. And it ends worldly existence below that. The same paragraph only. Yeah. Worldly existence, bracket, close. Such a contemplation is the very essence of sansar bhavana. Yeah, worldly existence. Yeah. 2B ends. Okay. Then the next paragraph itself, 3 starts. it goes on to the next page. Yeah. Middle of the next page, own suffering conditions. Below. Slightly below. Go up. Yes. Own suffering conditions. Yeah. First paragraph. Yes. So 3 ends. The 4th starts the next paragraph. It ends in 2 paragraph. Realms of existence. Realms of existence. Yeah. 4 ends here. Then the 5th starts the next paragraph. In 5th, there are 4 points, A, B, C, D. So first one is the introduction. The difference, the next paragraph is 5A, the difference. Yeah, 5A. Then next paragraph, the universe is merely a nay, gnay. Yeah, 5B. The next paragraph, 5C. And the next paragraph, yes, both discuss these realms, 5D. And the end of the page, the 5th point ends. Naturally comes into sansar bhavana. Next paragraph. Yeah, naturally comes into sansar. This is the end of 5th point. Then the 6th point, the next paragraph. Here, one question. That is 6th point. It's in 3 paragraphs. So, is the cause of sansar. Yeah, here, right below. Cause of sansar. Cause of sansar. Then the 7th point starts, 7A. If we wish to escape from there, 2-3 paragraphs down the line, not found anywhere. Yes, 7A ends. Then the next page, without realizing the transience. Yes, here, below, yeah. 7B, the same paragraph takes place. That paragraph, yeah, 7B ends. Then the 8th and the last point, in this way, below. Next. Yes, in this way. 8th point starts and it goes on to the next page. I take my leave. Yeah, here, middle. Yes, 8th point ends. Okay, so we'll again come back to the first point. Sansar bhavana. What does this sansar bhavana means? Meaningless of all attachments. 47. Below. Yeah, go. Yes. Sansar bhavana, right. Ek anushilan. So the first point, meaningless. What is this sansar bhavana and what is sansar exactly they mean by? So sansar is not the universe that we live in. Okay. Sansar is the disposition of delusion, attachments and aversions that manifest in our modification. Okay. So sansar is the one part of the modification of a soul. So sansar is in soul and not soul is in sansar. That is a point that we are going to discussion. So what is this sansar? The sansar is the manifestations of attachments and aversions that is happening all the time in the modification of the soul. Okay, this is what they mean by sansar. And in sansar bhavana, contemplation is done that you take shelter in your soul, and once you take shelter in your soul, you manifest the 3 gems, right belief, right knowledge and right conduct, and automatically this delusions and attachments and aversions does not manifest. That is the meaning of sansar bhavana. Okay, that is the true essence of sansar bhavana. All the associations are futile, meaningless, worthless. Okay, all the associations and all the state of association, Sanyog and Sanyogi Bhav. Okay, state of association. State of associations means again that same delusion, attachments, and aversions. This manifest only when we take shelter in external associations. Okay, our active consciousness, when it connects with external association, then this delusion, attachment, and aversions are manifested, and this is only the sansar. Okay, so in sansar bhavana, we will contemplate on how to manifest equanimity, how to manifest eternal bliss, and when we manifest that, then automatically the delusion, attachment, aversion does not manifest, and that is sansar bhavana. Very nice discussion. So we will continue with the beginning, and who will read? Payal, you are there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, then you read. Leave the first paragraph. No one is capable. From there you start.
Okay. No one is capable of stopping the separation of associations that occur every moment according to their predetermined bhavitavya, destiny, nor of preventing the transformation of paryay, nor of altering them at will. This is because all associations and modifications are impermanent, anitya, and devoid of true refuge, asaran. Even after the fact becomes extremely clear through the practice of impermanence contemplation, anitya bhavana, and non-refuge contemplation, asaran bhavana, an ignorant ajnani person, unfamiliar with the true nature of reality, may, due to ignorance, ajnanavas, still generate waves of delusion, vikalpa taramga. Even a samyakya jnani, at times swayed by attachment, rag, may develop such thoughts. Even if associations cannot be made permanent, as long as they exist, they will surely provide happiness. Moreover, the new associations that arise may also contain some pleasurable elements. By remaining entangled in such imaginations, one's focus does not withdraw from associations, nor does it turn toward one's intrinsic nature, swabhav. The process of contemplation undertaken to rise above this state is called samsar bhavana. In samsar bhavana, one reflects upon the fact that there is no real happiness in external associations. And the very notion of happiness in them is the root cause of suffering. A poor man suffers due to lack of wealth, and a rich man suffers due to greed. Nowhere is true happiness found in the world. This is evident everywhere. The above verse powerfully reveals the same truth, that the entire world has been thoroughly examined, yet nowhere has happiness been found in external associations, sanyog. If the poor suffer due to lack of wealth, then how can the wealthy be considered happy? They too appear to be suffering, being enslaved by insatiable desires, trashna. Endless wavering, samsaran, itself is samsara, and the cycle of transmigration through the four realms of existence, chaturgati paribhraman, is precisely what constitutes samsaran. In Jinnagams, suffering across the four destinies, chaturgati, is described everywhere. Among the most widely read scriptures in the Jain community is Chardala, a simple, engaging, and easily comprehensible text authored by the revered poet scholar Pandit Daulat Ramji. This scripture begins with an exposition on the four states of existence, Chaturgati, and its very first section, Dal, elaborates in detail on the sufferings of these realms, making it easily essential for study. Here is the verse, Chanda, related to Samsar Bhavana. From the fifth section, Pachma Dhal, aforementioned Chadala, the four realms are filled with suffering beings. The essence of this teaching is that all jivas who wander through these four realms, undergoing 5 types of transmigrations, are inherently miserable. Nowhere in any of these 4 realms does true happiness exist. The endless wavering through cycle of existence, Chaturgati Brahman Roop Samsar, is entirely devoid of essence. It contains not even single trace of happiness or substance. No effort, whether by removing unfavorable circumstances, pratikul sayog, or by
You can skip the
acquiring.
Hindi word. You can skip the
Okay.
Hindi word. You can just simply read the English.
Okay. Or by acquiring favorable ones, has ever led to true happiness, nor will it ever. Therefore, the only meaningful approach is to withdraw one's focus from external associations. Everything else is mere entanglement in samsara.
Hmm.
For those who long for
Bus, end. One point ends here. Point number
Uh-huh.
1. Okay. So no one is capable of stopping the separation of association that occur every moment according to their predetermined destiny. Okay. So all associations and modifications are impermanent and they are devoid of true refuge that we discussed in the first 2 bhavana. Now in this Sansar Bhavana, what is being discussed is even after this fact becomes extremely clear through the practice of impermanence contemplation and non-refuge contemplation, an ignorant person, unfamiliar with the true nature of reality, may, due to ignorance, still generate waves of delusion. Okay? Even a samyak jnani, right believer, at times swayed by attachment, may develop such thoughts. What thought? That although associations cannot be made permanent, as long as they exist, they will surely provide happiness. Okay. So the ignorant one also believes this, and sometimes the right believer also are swayed by the attachment, because the right believer has not got delusion with him, but because of attachment, at times he may also uh, get distracted and believe that although associations are impermanent, but they, while they exist, they might provide happiness, or the new associations that may come up, they also may contain some pleasurable moment. This is the belief that the wrong believer always have, and the right believer also, due to the attachment, swayed by the attachment, also may believe such. So for this, we need constant contemplation of Asharan Bhavana. Okay. Otherwise, the right believer also will become a wrong believer if he continues such contemplations. Okay. So by remaining entangled in such imaginations, because these are not facts, these are only imaginations, one's focus does not withdraw from association. Now, what do you mean by the word focus here? Can anyone relate to it? By remaining entangled in such imaginations, one's focus does not withdraw from associations, nor does it turn towards one's intrinsic nature. What does focus here mean?
Is it interest, sir?
No. Technical word I want, what we used in religion. Hemali, you know it.
So I was going to say the wrong direction being taken.
Active
So
consciousness, active consciousness.
upyog, yeah.
Upyog, right. So
So what
once,
you had said in the last class that if you want to go to, I think Pune, but if you take a train to Delhi,
right.
you're never going to get to
So here
Pune.
what they are trying to say, one's focus does not withdraw from associations. So
Upyog,
from
yeah.
time immemorial, it is in the associations only, just thinking that I will derive happiness from there. Okay. Now, by remaining entangled in such imagination, so far the delusion is there, imagination is there, you cannot withdraw from your focus from external association. That means you cannot withdraw your active consciousness from associations, nor does it turn inward, towards one's intrinsic nature. Okay. The process of contemplation undertaken to rise above this state, okay, to rise above this imagination and get your active consciousness towards your soul, take shelter towards your soul, is all sansar bhavana is about. Okay. Only the methodology of contemplation differs, but the technology remains the same. You have to withdraw your focus from external associations and modifications and turn it inward towards your own intrinsic nature, that is pure soul. This is what we want from all the 12 contemplations, but the methodology of contemplation will differ in each contemplation, and that is the beauty of this principle. Okay. The process of the process of contemplation undertaken to rise above this state is called sansar bhavana. In sansar bhavana, one reflects upon the fact that there is no real happiness in external association, and that the very notion of happiness in them is the root cause of suffering. Very explicitly it is being said, yeah. No real happiness in external association, and that very true, and that the very notion of happiness in them is the root cause of suffering. So then this Hindi Pandit Budhar Das ji, the poet Pandit Budhar Das ji, he says one chand which is very, very relatable to this concept of Ashrana Bhavana, Sansar Bhavana, not Ashrana Bhavana, Sansar Bhavana. Dam bina nirdhan dukhi. Dam means money, okay, wealth. So, dam bina, without wealth, a poor person is experiencing sorrow. And the wealthy is also suffering from sorrow because of greed. Trishna was dhanvan. Kahu na sukh sansar mein. Nowhere is true happiness found in the world. Sab jag dekhyo chan. I have explored everything in this universe, thoroughly examined, and nowhere happiness has been found in external association. Okay, this is what it conveys. So, endless wandering itself is sansar, and the cycle of transmigration through the four realms of existence is precisely what constitutes sansar. Sansaran. Sansaran means endless wandering. Okay. In the Jinagam, suffering across the four destinies is described as everywhere. Then Chadala has been referred, which we have already referred, and in the first Dal itself, what are the sufferings in the four states of existence has been very vividly explained and mentioned, so that you disconnect from all the four states of existence and you do put in efforts to get liberated, because there is no happiness in the four states of existence of this universe. Okay. So, Chadala. Now the second point. The last paragraph I would like to repeat. No effort, whether by removing unfavorable circumstances or by acquiring favorable ones, has ever led to true happiness. Because this favorable and unfavorable associations does not contain happiness. Okay. So even if you get favorable, you are not going to have true happiness. And if you get unfavorable, there also you are not going to get true happiness, and nor will it ever. Therefore, the only meaningful approach is to withdraw one's focus from external association. Okay. Everything else is mere entanglement in sansar. Okay. So now we need to withdraw our focus from the external associations and modifications that we have been engaging in from time immemorial, and turn it inwards towards our inherent nature, intrinsic nature, pure soul. Okay, that is the essence of each contemplation. Now the second point, 2a and 2b. Gia, you read.
Sir,
Yeah.
I have a question on
Yes.
the paragraph before. It talks about the 4 realms and the 5 transmigrations, Panch Paravartan.
Yes.
What is the relationship between the 4 realms and 5
So
transgressions?
out of the 5 paravartans, which is Dravya, Kshetra, Kal, Bhav, and Bhav. So Bhav contains these 4 states of existence.
I see.
Okay.
Got it.
So Panch Paravartan is a vast subject, out of which 4 state of existence is one component. Okay. So
Yeah.
we have been to all the substances in this universe. We have been connected to all the substances in the universe. We have taken birth in all the substances of this universe. We have taken birth in all the places. Okay. Dravya, Kshetra. Kshetra is space. Dravya is substance, space. Kal is time, and Bhav. Bhav is dispositions. Okay. So we have taken in all this, in the transmigration of all these 4 states of existence, we have got born in every substance, in every space, in every time, and in every dispositions. Okay. So we have experienced everything, but coming out of it and getting liberated is what we need to do. There is no happiness in any of this transmigration. That is what is being explained in Chedala, that we have already done. So I didn't expanded it. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So Roshni, you, Gia, okay, first Gia will read. Gia, you read. 2a.
Yes, so where do I read from?
2a. For
For,
those.
yeah. For those who long for happiness through external associations, it is essential to deeply contemplate and reflect. Are the associations for which you are so eager, for which you are exhausting all efforts, truly capable of bringing happiness? Even if you acquire them, will they genuinely grant you happiness? Should I read from Let It Not? Let it not be that your entire life is spent merely in accumulating these worldly associations, yet they never actually come together. For the gathering of these associations is as difficult as weighing frogs on a scale. When you place one on one side, the other jumps off and scatters. By the time one samyog is gathered, another is lost. Those who have access to an abundance of delicacies often find themselves restricted, barred from consuming ghee, sugar, salt, or oil, and are forced to sustain themselves on nothing but bland moong dal water. Even if they wish to immerse themselves in garta and milk all day, they
Ghee,
can only
ghee.
watch
Grath is ghee.
ghee and milk all day. They can only watch as guests devour delicacies before them while they sip their bland tea in silence. Even if by some stroke of merit, punya yog, all favorable circumstances were to come together, would they truly bring happiness? To this, one might say that can only be determined once all the favorable conditions have actually come together. No, my friend, wasting time in such anticipation is not wise. Instead, one should observe those who already have these favorable circumstances and reach the right conclusion. It is a well-known fact that from a worldly perspective, even those who are abundantly prosperous today cannot sleep without taking pills. We should also learn from the experiences of the great emperors who, despite ruling over vast lands, renounced everything and embraced the path of the naked Digambara ascetics.
So 2A ends here. Then 2B.
Should I continue reading?
Yes, yes.
We should reflect on the following
Next page, next page. It's 2B, next page.
Yeah.
Seeking happiness in external associations.
Seeking happiness in external associations is merely a waste of time and energy. Just as no matter how much one churns, it is impossible to extract butter from water, no matter how much one presses, oil cannot be extracted from sand. Similarly, all efforts made to search for happiness within worldly associations are utterly futile, as true happiness can never be attained through them. In order to attain happiness, it is essential to seek and explore one's own intrinsic nature, which is the true ocean of bliss. One must take refuge in one's true nature, have knowledge and faith in it, and engage in meditation upon it. Such contemplation is the very essence of samsara bhavana, the reflection on the nature of worldly existence.
So the question here was that is there happiness in external associations which you have been longing, you're putting in so much of effort, you are putting your whole life after acquiring those associations. So instead of wasting time after that, you just analyze that those who have got this good association in life, are they happy? So no, it is many examples are given. Okay, even those who have got so much of wealth, they are not able to sleep. They have to take one tablet, sleeping pill to get a sleep. Why they are not getting peaceful sleep? Because of all these associations, you know, out of the 5 sins, the last sin is parigraha. So parigraha is a sin. Who will believe? Everyone is happy by getting more associations. Now, if your net worth is, say, supposing 1 crore this year, okay, in your balance sheet, and the next year it becomes 2 crores, you will be happy or sad? You will be happy. But the scripture says that possessions beyond a certain point is a sin, right? You need some possession because you are a householder. For monk, even that is also not required. So that's why Tirthankar, Chakravarti and Kamdev. So 3 Tirthankars, Shantinath, Kuntunath and Arnath. These 3 Tirthankars, they were not only Tirthankar, but they were also Chakravartis and they were also Kamdev. Now what is Kamdev, you know? Kamdev are those characters which are very beautiful. Okay. So whoever sees them, they get attracted. So such is the such were those Tirthankars and Chakravartis, you know. Even in spite of that, they left everything, renounced everything, and embraced the path of the naked Digambar ascetics. What does it show? It shows that there is no happiness in any of the external association. Okay, so that is the basic contemplation that we do in Sansar Bhavana, that all these associations are futile. They are not worth acquiring because there is no happiness in it. Okay, so that is what being discussed in point number 2A and 2B. So because there is no happiness in there, so there you will not get happiness by acquiring this association. So 2B says seeking happiness in external association is merely a waste of time and energy. And we all have limited time. Jia, we have come with a limited time. Okay, maybe 60, 70, 80. This is a normal people's average life, right? And in between, if the accident happens, as you saw an accident happening day before yesterday, where 242 out of 242 passengers, 241 died and only one survived. Again, it goes on to prove that if your age is there, you will survive. And if your age is not there, even if you are a chief minister, you will not survive, right? So, Seeking happiness in external association is a waste of time and energy, and we have got very little time in this life. So just analyze. It's not that I will first acquire all the association and then I will see whether I am feeling happiness because of that or not. No, no need to waste time after acquiring that. Even those who have got it, whether they are happy or not, that you analyze and come to a conclusion, right? Don't waste time. Just as no matter how much one churns, it is impossible to extract butter from water. No matter how much one presses, oil cannot be extracted from sand. Similarly, all efforts made to search for happiness within worldly associations, okay, are utterly futile, as true happiness can never be attained through them. So all these worldly associations, never you will be able to extract happiness from them. In order to attain happiness, it is essential to seek and explore one's own intrinsic nature, pure soul, which is the true ocean of bliss. You want happiness? You explore. You find happiness in your own soul. So you connect to your soul and you will find happiness. As simple as that. One must take refuge in one's true nature, have knowledge and faith in it, and engage in meditation upon it. Such contemplation is the very essence of sansar bhavana. Okay. Now the third point. Who is left? Pratibhaji. Just as external association.
Just as external associations are neither the true form of happiness nor the cause of happiness, similarly, they are neither the true form of suffering nor the cause of suffering. They are merely external substances, mere instrumental conditions. The real cause of suffering is the oneness with association, the modifications that arise from within the soul due to dependence on external associations. The attachments and the resulting internal distortions of the soul are in reality what constitute samsara. In this context, the following verses should be referred.
Skip the summary also. Go to the next paragraph. In reality,
the feelings of affection, identification, attachment, and ignorance toward external substances that itself is sansar, worldly existence. The scholars of scriptures have identified its consequences as the wandering through the four realms of existence. Attachment toward external substance is, in a sense, sansar. O Atam, you are conscious, while the body and other external substances are entirely insentient. Therefore, contemplating the renunciation of attachment toward them is true sansar bhavana, reflection on nature of worldly existence. In the above two verses, attachment and affection toward external substances have been described as sansar, worldly existence. This is very attachment has been identified as the cause of wandering through the four realms of existence. Since association with external entities gives rise to attachment toward them, the verses also advise renouncing such association. This is clear that the feelings of delusion, attachment, aversions that arise within the soul itself constitute sansar, worldly existence. These emotions originate in soul due to external influences, but they manifest within the soul itself. They are the soul's own impure state, its own suffering conditions.
Stop. So you see, Very good explanation. So this external association, so far we have discussed that there is no happiness in external association. So it's a waste of time and energy seeking happiness from this. Now here in this particular point, we go further deep. So the external association are neither the true form of happiness nor the cause of happiness. Similarly, they are neither the true form of suffering and the cause of suffering, because external association are external association. Or okay, only if you develop an attachment to those associations, that is the main cause of your suffering, right? Not the association itself. Okay, so just as external association are neither the true form of happiness nor the cause of happiness, similarly they are neither the true form of suffering nor the cause of suffering. They are merely external substances, mere instrumental conditions. Instrumental conditions means instrumental cause. Okay, they are mere instrumental cause. Then what is the real cause? The real cause of suffering is the sanyogi bhav. Now, what is this sanyogi bhav? Okay, so correction has to be done here. It is not oneness with association. Okay, it is the attachment, it is the alien disposition, it is the impure disposition that has manifested because of oneness with association, because of uh, uh, connecting to associations. Okay, so sanyogi bhav is nothing but uh, it's our alien disposition. You can write attachment, comma, alien disposition. Okay, sanyogi bhav. So sanyog is association and sanyogi bhav is states of association. Okay, states of association is little bit difficult to understand. So you just put it as the real cause of suffering is the attachment towards association, or you can simply put it as alien disposition. Okay, alien disposition is a disposition which has not manifested because taking shelter in the self, but this has taken place because of connecting to external association. Okay, so sanyogi bhav, you can write down, sanyogi bhav would be attachment towards association, feeling of attachments. And attachments, when we say attachments, aversions, passions, all come under one bracket, attachments. Okay, so sanyogi bhav is attachments. Okay, you can write down the real cause of suffering is the attachment towards external association. Okay, so sanyogi bhav words would be used time and again, and you have to mean it. You can write it at one place. Sanyogi bhav is equal to attachments, is equal to alien disposition, is equal to states of association. States of association. They are not associations themselves, but it's again a states of association, means modification of association. So you can simply write attachments or alien disposition is sanyogi bhav. The modifications, okay, that arise within the soul due to dependence on external association. Again, the same thing. Okay, sanyogi bhav is the modification that arise within the soul due to dependence on external association. This attachment and the resulting internal distortions. Okay, so this sanyogi bhav is again vikari bhav, internal distortion. Okay, this attachment and the resulting internal distortion of the soul are in reality which constitute sansar. So sansar means this alien disposition, this attachments, this internal distortions, you name it, it's all means the same. The passions, okay, all these are the same bracket. So Sanyogi Bhav word will come time and again, and you have to mean all these. Okay. So this is actually the sansar. Okay. This is actually the sansar. Attachment is actually the sansar. So all this, so in contemplation of sansar bhavna, we will contemplate about the meaninglessness of the attachments. 1 minute. Meaninglessness of the attachments. Okay.
So I had a question.
Yes.
So what is the meaning of internal distortions?
Vikari bhav. The same thing. Alien disposition. That which has arisen by taking shelter in external association is internal distortions. So in Hindi, the bracket, it's written Vikari bhav. Okay. Vikari bhav. Another word, good word for Vikari bhav is alien disposition. Bhav is disposition and Vikari is alien. Swabhav bhav is the opposite of that. Okay. So the one that has manifested by taking shelter in the soul is called Swabhav bhav. And this is Vikari bhav. When you take shelter in the external association, what you manifest is internal distortion. Okay. Alien disposition. Attachments, passions, aversions is all one bracket. Okay. So this is actually the sansar. So in sansar bhavna, we would like to eliminate all these sansar dispositions, and for that you have to take shelter in the soul. So the contemplation will come positive in the positive manner also, and in the negative manner also, as we have seen in each of the contemplations so far. Okay.
I
Now,
have a question. Sir,
yeah.
1 minute. Internal distortions is passions and one more word you said, sir.
Aversions, passions,
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, sir.
attachments.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. In reality, the feeling of affection. So affection again is an attachment. The next word is identification. So identification, you cancel that, it is oneness. Oneness. Okay, oneness. The third word is attachment. The fourth word is ignorance towards external substance. That itself is sansar. Again, it has been explained here. Okay, same thing. Okay. The
Okay. Thank you. Yes, you also. All the best.
Yeah. The scholars of the scriptures have identified its consequence as the wandering through the four realms of existence. Okay. The scholars of the scriptures have identified its consequence. What consequence? The feeling of affection, the feeling of oneness with external association, the feeling of attachment towards association, the feeling of ignorance toward external substance, all these are the cause of wandering in the four states of existence. Number 2 point. Attachment towards external substance is in essence sansar. Okay. Attachment. So now we will use only one word, attachment, attachment, attachment. And under attachment, aversions, then internal distortions, then alien dispositions, toxic dispositions, toxic emotions, then impure dispositions, all these will come under attachments. Okay, one bracket attachment. So attachment toward external substance, in essence, sansar. Okay, worldly existence. O Atman, you are conscious. You are conscious. Okay, you are sentient being, while the body and other external substance are entirely insentient, achetan. Okay. Therefore, contemplating the renunciation of attachment toward them is true sansar bhavana. You contemplate to renounce all these things. We want to get rid of all kinds of attachments. Okay. In the above two verses, attachment and affection towards external substance have been described as sansar, This very attachment has been identified as the cause of wandering through the four realms of existence. Since association with external entities gives rise to attachments toward them, the verses also advise renouncing such association. Why we are renouncing such association? Because it will give rise to attachments towards them. So that's why association are also being renounced. Thus, it is clear that the feeling of moh, rag, dvesh, delusion, attachments, aversion that arise within the soul itself constitute sansar. So, whole 3 point describes the word sansar. Now you know word sansar, what it means. Not the worldly existence, that is also a meaning, but here we mean all the kinds of attachment. These emotions originate in the soul due to external influences, but they manifest within the soul itself. They are the soul's own impure states, its own suffering conditions. Okay, so now we know the true meaning of sansar. Fourth point, the soul is eternal.
Sir, I have it is said we are just supposed to see and observe. And then the last point, these emotions originate in soul due to external influences.
Right.
But they manifest within the soul itself.
Right.
They are the soul's own impure states, its own suffering and conditions. So if it is that we are just supposed to see and observe, then it is arising in the soul only.
Right.
It is
so you don't become a doer. They want to say you don't become a doer of that. It's happening in the soul, in the modification of the soul itself. It's reflecting in the knowledge screen. All these attachment, impure dispositions, passions, anger, pride, everything. But
yes, it's a byproduct of the soul itself. Then how is it?
It's in the
so
modification of the soul. It's not in the substance part of the soul. Okay. The soul has two parts. One is the substance part, another one is the modification part. So let it happen in the modification, because each and every modification is momentary, of only one moment. Next moment that modification is not there. Okay. So these are all temporary phenomena, right? And I am eternal. So you have to do oneness with this eternal inherent nature and be an observer of all the modification that passes through.
So every moment of life, ये चेतना जरूरी है. It is very difficult. है नहीं?
No, it's not difficult. You understand your nature. You are not the doer of those things. You are the observer of those things. Your eternal nature is to just know. You don't go beyond knowing. This you have to understand, right? Your nature is knowing, only knowing, not doing. The moment you become doer, then only the problem arises. Okay? So just be an observer.
That's what it's. मतलब संसार में रह के, family में रह के, it's
होता है. It's not difficult. Just you have to contemplate. You have to contemplate.
That is the most difficult
because कि संसार में रह के आप संसार में नहीं है ना. आप ये दुनिया में नहीं है. आपका सोल एक अलग है. It's a different entity altogether. You are pure soul.
Okay? Yes. ये चेतना है, लेकिन जब we are in this world, in this existence, in our family, चेतना है, लेकिन फिर भी it is not easy. That is my experience. Many times ये सोचे हैं, मनन किए हैं, लेकिन where is it happening? Very little.
But where you are putting in efforts, you put efforts to identify yourself, what you are. Okay. So once you establish this identity of yours, then it will become easy. ऐसे आप कुछ छोड़ने जाएंगे तो छूटेगा नहीं, ना फैमिली छूटेगा, ना अटैचमेंट छूटेगा, ना कुछ छूटेगा.
Yes, end of the day यही होता है, अपन सोचते हैं, end of the day I've been doing the same thing the whole day.
नहीं, आप ये सोचो ना कि what you are doing, आप क्या कर सकते हो, what you can do. What is your identity? What is your true identity? I am a pure soul, and pure soul's function is just to know. So just remain a knower, no? Then there is no problem. The problem arises because you you manifest oneness with the external association that gets reflected in your knowledge screen. You do mindness with them. You do doer, you become a doer of those things, and you become an enjoyer of those things. Now, this is where the delusion arises. Okay.
Yeah, तो enjoyment तो अब नहीं लगता है. It's not, मतलब it is that because you're in family, you're attached to all this and you cannot see.
But even in that attachment, you are still detached, because soul as a, if you comprehend, understand the nature of the soul, one substance cannot get attached to another substance.
It
right?
is said.
The next contemplation, which is about the solitude of the soul. Soul is always alone. Soul has never been attached to anything, right? So this nature of yours, you contemplate on that, you establish oneness with that nature, and everything will happen. Okay. So there is a technique to do that. We will understand this technique better in the next contemplation that is coming up. Let's finish first this one. Okay.
Right.
The fourth point, I am myself reading. Only 15 minutes are left and we want to complete this today. Okay. The soul is an eternal, indestructible, beginningless and endless fundamental entity. Now you just put focus on this. Madhuji, baki sab chhod do, khali this. What is your
Yes, sir.
pure soul like? The soul is an eternal, okay,
Yes.
indestructible, beginningless and endless fundamental entity. Eternal means beginningless, endless, okay? But to in Hindi, you know, words just to highlight a particular point, they put it in different perspective, the same meaning, okay? So when it is said it is eternal, that means it is indestructible. That means it is beginningless. That means it is endless, okay? The soul is an eternal, indestructible, beginningless and endless fundamental entity. Whereas this worldly existence in the form of moh, rag, dvesh, roop is fleeting and impermanent. From this perspective, rather than saying soul is in sansar, it is more appropriate to say samsar is within soul. Sansar is within soul means sansar is in the modification of the soul.
Worldly
Okay?
existence. Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay.
But
The jiva is a substance, whereas sansar is a modification. So you are not the modification. You are the substance part. Okay. The jiva is a substance, whereas sansar is a modification. Paryay. Modes exist within a substance, but a substance does not exist within modes. Okay. Sansar is a modified state of the Jeev Dravya. Hence, it is not incorrect to say that sansar exists within the soul. Okay. So, sansar exists within the soul means the attachments, aversions, passions, alien dispositions exist within the modification of the soul. Okay. Not that the soul exists within sansar. Okay. Even when it is said that soul is in sansar, it essentially means that at this moment, soul is experiencing states of delusion, attachments and aversion, causing it to wander through the four realms of existence. Okay. So what is sansar? Now you have understood. Fifth point. Some people interpret the word sansar to mean the lok, okay, world, universe. Now that is a different contemplation altogether. There is a lok bhavna, where the contemplations about the three worlds, you know, upper world, middle world, lower world, okay, that will be discussed in lok bhavna, not here. Here sansar bhavna does not mean the universe. Here sansar means the disposition of attachments, aversions, passions, alien dispositions, uh, internal distortions, okay, all these it means. So same is being explained here. So now the difference between Lok Bhavna and Sansar Bhavna is being discussed. And there are four differences, 5A, B, C, D that I am referring, okay. In between I am skipping something that you can read at your home. So 5a, we will straightway go to the 5a. The difference between the two, what two? One is the Lok Bhavna, which is the 10th contemplation, and the Sansar Bhavna, which is the 3rd contemplation. So the first difference is that the difference between the two is as vast as that between a drop of water and the ocean. So ocean is the universe and drop of water is the sansar. Sansar is like a drop while lok is like the ocean. Because in sansar refers to only the impure modification, vikari paryay, of the soul, whereas lok refers to the collective existence of the 6 fundamental substances, collective, 6 द्रव्यों का समूह, विश्व. Okay, so Vishwa is the lok. These 6 substances include infinite jeev, innumerable material particles, countless indivisible units of time, and the singular entities of space, medium of motion, medium of rest. Okay, here it is written nimit, but you write down medium of motion, medium of rest. Together, these constitute an infinite and boundless reality. Okay, so this is about the universe. So difference between the 3rd contemplation and the 10th contemplation is being discussed. The first difference is that sansar is like a drop while lok is like an ocean, because sansar is just a part of a modification of a soul. Okay, whereas lok is the collective existence of the 6 substance, that is universe. Second point, 5b. The universe is merely a gnay. Gnay means object of knowledge. Okay, the universe is only an object of knowledge, whereas sansar is hey. Hey means something to be renounced. Okay, so this sansar, the attachments, is again a gnay, but at the same time it is also hey, worth renouncing. Okay, worth renouncing. Okay, so this is the second difference. The universe is only an object of knowledge, whereas sansar is of course an object of knowledge. At the same time it is worth renouncing. Hey. Okay, so that is 5b. Now 5c. There is also a difference in the process of contemplation between the two. In Lok Bhavna can involve an analytical exploration of the nature of the 6 substances, or an explanatory reflection on the structure and nature of the 3 worlds. Okay. So this is what it concludes. But just as Sansthan Vichay, a form of Dharma Dhyan, involves geographical contemplation of the universe, Lok Bhavna can also take a similar approach. So there is a difference in the process of contemplation. In the Lok Bhavna, we contemplate about the 3 worlds, about the 6 substances, this universe, everything like that. In contrast, Sansar Bhavna focuses on reflecting upon the futility of external association and the suffering inherent in the attachment. It's written here mental states, okay, but actually it is attachment. In the attachment arising from them means association. Okay, futility of external association and the attachments towards them. Okay, this is Sansar Bhavna. Now 5d. The method of analysis differ between the two. Lok Bhavna focuses on explaining the structure of the 3 worlds, whereas Sansar Bhavna does not focus on the 3 lok, but rather on the 4 destinies and the suffering experienced within them. Okay, so in Sansar Bhavna we were discussing the sufferings in the 4 states of existence, but in Lok Bhavna we are actually discussing the 3 worlds of the universe. So this is the 5th point. Now, the conclusion of the 5th point. The limit of Sansar Bhavna extends only to association and Sanyogi Bhav, that is attachments towards the association or states of association. Okay, Sanyogi Bhav. The contemplation of the meaninglessness of the association and the sorrowful nature of these Sanyogi Bhav. Okay, sorrowful nature of states of association is the boundary of Sansar Bhavna. Since the four modes of existence are also forms of association or in relation to the feeling of the soul, forms of Sanyogi Bhav, their description naturally comes into Sansar Bhavna. Okay, so in Sansar Bhavna, it is limited to associations and the experience of the feeling of sorrow, okay, that is part of Sansar Bhavna. Okay, contemplation about that. Now the sixth point, here one question may arise, that the discussion of association has already been fully addressed in the contemplation of impermanence and lack of refuge. Therefore, how appropriate is to continue contemplating the same in the context of Sansar Bhavna? So same thing is being explained here. The process of contemplation of Anitya and Ashan Bhavna is different from the process of contemplation of Sansar Bhavna. The fundamental difference between the two lies in their mutual contemplation process. Without understanding this, many other questions of the same kind may arise. In Anitya Bhavna, the fleeting nature of the association is described. In Asharan Bhavna, the lack of refuge in association, not conjunction. Okay, you have to change everywhere conjunction word because they do 1 page, 2 page at a time. So in between, the Chat GPT has picked up word conjunctions for associations. Okay, Sanyog, association. So you write everywhere association instead of conjunctions. Only in this page this is appearing, only in these 2 paragraphs only. Okay. And in Sansar Bhavna, the pointlessness, okay, meaninglessness of those association is stated. So you see, there is a difference in the contemplation. Okay, fleeting nature, lack of refuge, and here pointlessness of those association. Okay. As has already been mentioned, there is a sequential development in the contemplation of these bhavnas. The sole purpose of contemplating the 12 bhavna is to shift the focus from associations towards the nature of things. Because the origin and increase of the sansar in the form of sanyogi bhav. Okay, sanyogi bhav is again attachments or sufferings through those attachments, is the result of a focus dependent on association. As long as the focus of this soul remains focused on association, the more rag-dvesh, delusion, attachment, aversions in the form of sanyogi bhav will continue to arise. What else could sansar be other than the feeling of more rag-dvesh? Thus, it is clear that focus dependent on association is the cause of sansar. Okay, same thing is being repeated, but we have read this one. Now the 7a and 7b. Quickly, if we wish to escape from the bhavduk, miseries of worldly existence, we must abandon the focus dependent on association. The process of contemplating the 12 bhavna has also blossomed from this very focus. In the same way, in Anitya Bhavna, along with impermanence of associations, the permanence of the swabhav, nature, is also contemplated. In Ashan Bhavna, along with the helplessness of the association, the refuge of the swabhav is also contemplated. Refuge of the swabhav means of the inherent nature, pure soul, okay, is also contemplated. Similarly, in Sansar Bhavna, along with the futility of associations, the essence of the swabhav is also fully contemplated. The essence of swabhav, okay, is also fully contemplated. In this context, the words related to Sansar concept gathered in the Chadala written by the wise poet Pandit Daulat Ramji is as follows. This Sansar is insignificant and vast. The essence lies within itself. I'll read the Hindi word for that. Yes. The sansar is infinite and vast and lies in itself. So this Chadala is written by Pandit Buddhajanji. Okay. Chadala written by Pandit Buddhajanji. By Pandit Buddhajanji, the wise poet is as follows. This sansar is insignificant and vast, the essence lies within itself. Yah sansar asar mahan, sar aap mein apa jaan. सुख ते दुख दुख ते सुख होई समता चारो गति नहीं कोई. Okay, so what does it say in this stanza is, this sansar is of great insignificance. One's own soul is indeed great and meaningful. In this transmigration of four states of existence, worldly happiness and sorrow constantly alternate. After happiness comes sorrow, after sorrow comes happiness, as do sorrow and worldly happiness. However, in all the four states, true and balanced happiness is not found anywhere. So what you get is the sensual pleasures in this sansar and not the true happiness. Okay. True happiness is not found anywhere in the four states of this existence. 7b. Now the next page. Without realizing, yes. Without realizing the transience, lack of refuge, and insignificance of external association, the focus will not turn away from them unless and until we contemplate on the fleeting nature of transience, lack of refuge of associations, and insignificance of this external association. The focus will not shift. Okay. Likewise, without recognizing the greatness of inherent nature, one's true nature, the focus will not turn towards it. Keeping in mind that only when the focus aligns with swabhav, okay, when the active consciousness aligns with your true nature, does the emergence and growth of samyak darshan and other intrinsic qualities, right belief, right knowledge, right conduct, and other intrinsic qualities take place. Okay, so we have to do that. Now the last conclusion. In this way, 8th point. Last. In this way. Next. Next. Yes, in this way. Very good. You missed?
It's gone up, yeah.
Yeah, in this way, right. In this way, we see that the contemplation process of the bhavanas involves a gradual development that fulfills the sacred objective. Therefore, it is very clear that the contemplation of sansar bhavana is not merely the repetition of the object considered in anitya and asaran bhavana, okay, but rather it is the next and necessary step in the contemplation process. Okay, worthlessness of the association, okay, insignificance of the associations, that is what we contemplate in sansar bhavana. This is also very clear that in the sansar bhavana, the futility of sansar, meaning the insignificance of sanyog, association, and the meaningfulness of one's true nature, okay, that is the consideration of its significance, are contemplated and reflected upon. When we reflect deeply, the second name of suffering is sansar. Okay, when we reflect deeply, we will realize that the second name of suffering is sansar. Okay, the attachment. Attachment directly leads to suffering, sorrow, misery, pain, grief. These being wandering through the four realm, REALM. Okay, A is missing. The four realms since time immemorial has endured endless suffering and continues to experience it. Okay, by great fortune, the opportunity for reflection and contemplation has been attained naturally. Therefore, these opportunities should not be missed. If caught in the illusion of happiness within sansar, this opportunity is missed. Then there will be no other way except wandering through the four states of existence and the 84 lakh species. Okay. Hence, by realizing the futility of sansar, the essence lies in dedicating oneself to the worship of one's pure true nature, Nij Shuddhatma, okay, pure soul. The efficacy of such contemplation, reflection, and deep consideration related to sansar bhavana is only when the practitioners focus, okay, active consciousness, here it is written active consciousness, and attention shift away from association and turn towards self, okay, own self, allowing the experience of transcendental bliss. Okay, so when you focus your active consciousness from external association towards yourself, you experience the transcendental bliss, eternal bliss. Okay, all those seeking the welfare of the self and contemplating the sorrowful nature of sansar should turn their focus towards swabhav and attain endless bliss. With this sacred contemplation, I take my leave. So this is the end of it, and this is our end of our time. I have taken 2-3 minutes more. Okay. But I want to complete it this. Now the next class we will complete this Ekatva Bhavna and Anyatva Bhavna. Ekatva Bhavna and Anyatva Bhavna are two sides of the same coin. One thing is being said of from positive angle, other thing is being said from the negative angle. So we can do both together, we can understand both together, but we will discuss separately also. Okay, but it's like something's being said from the positive side, so there will always be a negative side. So negative will be Anyatva Bhavna and positive would be Ekatva Bhavna. Okay, so that we will discuss in the next class, and then we will continue. Okay, I can highlight the points. Okay, I will send a voice message in the group where I will be highlighting the points of Ekatva Bhavna and Anyatva Bhavna, and that you can mark it and read and come in the next class. And simultaneously, you should write the highlights of each bhavna. Now today you have read it, you read it once again, and they just mark the bullet points. Okay, in this is being highlighted, this is being highlighted. So there will be hardly 3-4 points in each bhavna that you keep on writing, so that when I give you homework for CC3, you will be able to do it very correctly. Okay, because we are already taking more time for our classes. Today was the 22nd class. So already 44 hours we have studied, and our stipulated time is 40 hours, and we still are going to take another 6 hours to complete. Okay, so it will be 50 hours, but I don't mind. But then we will have less time for CC3. So I will give you only 15 days for CC3. Okay, so you better write the important points of each contemplation right now. So we have completed 3 contemplations. So you can highlight the points, bullet points of each 3. So you will be prepared. Okay. So these are the homeworks. Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना 7 बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत